Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Center. So let's talk West Scranton Invaders football. Brian Fahey, the head coach, joining us right now. Coach, test right out of the gate. It's Riverside, and they're feeling pretty good about themselves, but I'm sure you guys are after a couple of weeks of camp as well. Tell us about this matchup coming up.
Well, I mean, they have reason to be feeling pretty good about themselves. I mean, we saw them on both of their scrimmage tapes, and they're a good football team. They're an experienced football team. They have a lot of people returning on both sides of the football. Seeing them defensively, I think that they are very confident in their scheme. They mix up fronts and bring a lot of pressure, and they're, an experienced group that seems like they play with a lot of trust, and they execute pretty well defensively. So they can cause us fits. Offensively, they have a lot of playmakers. They're not one-dimensional by any means. They have, two very, very good tailbacks, multiple weapons to throw to, an experienced tight end and some speed on the outside. They've got kids to get the football to that can make some plays in space. So, they're a very good football team and to come out of their gates against, and they're also our neighborhood rivals. So, should be a good matchup.
Coach, you go down your schedule. There are zero breaks. You get dynamics every week. You get a very good Double-A team. Then you go to Coughlin. Coughlin comes to you. Actually, Triple-A team, that was a hard-fought one to start last year. And then Coughlin kind of pulled away at the end. And then Dunmore, every year, great tradition. North Pocono. Every week you have to be ready. There is no looking ahead. Tell us about what are some of the philosophies you and the coaches there at West kind of preach as far as getting it in their heads about a week-by-week approach, a day-by-day approach, a play-by-play approach? Tell us about it.
Well, pretty much overall. We're aware, and we try to compliment the kids in terms of, hey, strength of schedule. You play a very demanding and difficult schedule week in and week out. One of the things we did on the bulletin board is we put our schedule up, and we didn't put names of any football teams. We just put home and away, because our approach is that we've got to control what we can control and make ourselves a better football team week in and week out. Be prepared. Right now the focus is on making our football team a better team this Friday night against Riverside than we were last Friday night against Mid-Valley in our scrimmage. And, if we take care of what we're in control of and learn how to execute consistently and play with intensity and passion, we feel that we can compete. But, that's been our approach. We are not looking ahead to Coughlin by any means, but that's a tough number 2 game, but Riverside is the focus, and believe me, they're a very good football team, so that's the only focus.
Coach, we don't want to give away too many trade secrets, but you bring up a great point as to, controlling what you can control. And, so often with coaching, everybody's focused on the other team. Let's break down tape. Let's see what they do. Let's look at their tendencies. How much do you spend on looking at what West Scranton does? Hey, this is what we're doing well. This is what we need to improve on. Hey, we ran the ball 32 times, out of 57 plays. Do you start looking at your own stuff?
Oh, no doubt about it. On both sides of the ball. Coaches around this area, and I've learned a lot of football from a lot of them. And, I know how people scout us. So step one for us is to scout ourselves. And if we're showing tendencies, whether it's down and distance tendencies or, on either side of the ball, whether it's bringing blitzes on defense or certain coverages versus certain formations, we know that other teams see that on tape, and they're going to find a way to, attack the weaknesses. So we try to improve how we execute. We don't try to invent anything. We play a solid base scheme on defense, and we look to, make our adjustments and make sure that, we get off blocks and we pursue the football and rely on those fundamentals. But, there's no doubt we self-scout ourselves, and if we're giving people, tells or kind of easy, predictable, situations that we do, we work hard to have an answer. The team's off balance week in and week out.
Coach, you're 2-8 last year, and whether you're 8-2 or 2-8 and you play a West Scranton football team, usually at the end you say, we just played a tough physical football team. It always seems to be the case with Invader football. But turning those games around, you have some starters back this year. How do you get the kids' confidence going and kind of build, whether it's the brick-by-brick theme or whatever you guys are doing there at West Scranton, to get that confidence there to say, guys, we can do this?
Well, I mean, really, that starts in December, at the beginning of our off season. We talk about what we have coming back, and the little things. For us in year 2 as a staff with this program, it's our first full off season. Yeah, we had an unsuccessful year in terms of wins and losses, but I think through a lot of experiences, the good ones and the bad ones, we've learned a lot of lessons last year about what it takes in terms of being committed. That was the theme in the off season. Attendance in the weight room, attendance at practice, and how all of the things like character and respect and trust will translate, to performance on the football field. So, that's been very much the emphasis. And, I'm pretty happy right now with the attitude and the effort, of the kids going into week 1 this year, in year 2 of the program.
Coach, tell us about the first couple weeks at camp and your impressions offensively. Tell us about some of the weapons or some guys up front. You say, hey, I think these guys are going to have a pretty good year, which will help the Invaders have a good season.
Well, I mean, we're looking, to get more consistency along the offensive line and still competing. And that has pretty much, we've had a very competitive camp, really since June, since we had a few weeks of spring ball. In terms of just teaching these kids how to compete, how to perform in practice, how to make each other better in practice by, whether you're on a scout team or you're on what's perceived to be some sort of starting offense, everyone's job is important. Right now, the quarterback position, I mean, we have 2 quarterbacks. We have, a kid with some experience, Leo Chulo, that started for the past 2 seasons, but, we had a senior come and commit himself in the off season, and he has done some things in execution and being able to deliver the football on time and make some plays with his feet. And his name's Matt Gall, and he's going to get snaps. And, so we're going to have 2 quarterbacks on the field, not at the same time. But, Matt Gall right now will start Friday night and take the first snaps of the first series. And, a dependable Leo Chulo, will get on the field as well. In the backfield, we have a returning sophomore. He played as a freshman, Andre Chalette. His off-season, work ethic was, it's remarkable. I mean, how much time he devotes to improving his strength, his speed, and, being a leader. He's a kid that we're, feel very, very good about. Dylan Hart is a tight end who, has some 1AA FCS interest right now. He's a 6'6" kid. He's, really refined his game in terms of his footwork and his blocking, and he's done a pretty good job in the weight room in the off-season as well. On the outside, we have Cheyenne Jackson and Sam Egan, are 2 kids that, can catch the football and have some speed to be able to stretch the field. Tamon Brown is another tailback that can provide some depth there. He's a little different style runner. He's got, great acceleration and explosiveness. So, we're looking for multiple people to contribute and understanding the concept of unit football and playing within a unit, whether it's offense or defense, and just executing and getting the job done.
How about the strength of your defense this year so far, Coach, in camp, and what your expectations are at the guys up front, linebackers, defensive backs? Who do you think has the edge going into this first game as far as showing up and playing a little better?
Well, right now, I mean, last year we gave up a lot of yardage on the ground. Some of it was, just lack of trusting assignments and trusting that, there's 7 or 8 gaps to defend in the run game, and the fronts that we play and the coverages behind them. Everyone has a job. The theme has been do your job, trust that your teammate's going to get his job done, and you take care of yours. And they've been responding to that. There'll be a rotation at linebacker, but Matt Williams is a kid that, has really shown signs of steady progress. Austin Lipowicz, is another outside linebacker that can contribute. He's a kid who played some DB last year, but now he's going to be a little closer to the line of scrimmage and, in less space. The defensive philosophy, I mean, I'll take speed over size and bulk any time because, what we want to be able to do is play fast, read, react, and get 11 hands to the football. But, they've been buying into that concept. Bubba Novak and Shia Jackson at the corners, give us, the ability to be comfortable with some of the talented, skilled kids that we'll be matching up with at times in man coverage. So that helps us defensively. Up front, Sean Fanning, has done a terrific job, on both sides of the ball. He's a 240-pound kid, but he's a basketball player, and I think that's helped him develop some pretty good footwork, and he plays with a high motor and intensity. Dylan Hart will play some defense, off the edge at defensive end. Ryan Buck and Trevor Haynes up front will give us, some strength and size in the middle. But like I said, it's a unit that is learning to play together and trust each other. And I think, they've developed some confidence over the summer.
Well, it should be pretty darn interesting. It's a rivalry, Riverside and West Scranton. I think we're going to see a good football game on Friday night here in a AAA and a AA matchup. So, Coach, I want to wish you well and thank you for your time, and hope you have a good season there for the Invaders.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
Brian Fahey, the head coach for the West Scranton Invaders football team, looking for a good 2015 here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.